Greetings and bienvenue, Midnight Crew. Thank you for returning to this broadcast. And welcome to new viewers joining us for the first time. If you like a video, then feel free to subscribe.
Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
2013. Work as an overnight manager at Walmart. Boring night, nothing out of the ordinary. Then enters Skeletor, dark tattered hoodie. Dude must have been at about 6'5", but hunched over to the fact he looked about 6 foot. Pale, fucking paper white pale. Skinny as hell, like to the point you feel sorry for him for medical reasons. I learned in my few years to avoid people like him but keep an eye on him. Watch him walk to the frozen meat section. Had a really robotic kind of movement to him, as if he forgot how to walk between every step. Lift up right leg, extend, place on floor, inch forward. Lift up left leg, extend, place on floor, inch forward. Repeat. Automatically assume he's on something. He reached the frozen chicken section, then again moves like a robot. Place hand on chicken packet, close hand, tuck underarm, you get the idea. He finished up with about 25 pounds of raw chicken under each arm, genuinely miring that strength. Walks to check out, pays for his shit in what looks like a Ziploc bag full of coins. I want to keep watching the guy, but I had other manager shit to attend to. Plus break was coming up, so I leave Skeletor to his business. About 30 minutes later, on lunch, get in the car to head to Whataburger. Drive around the back because it is easier to avoid co-workers, so no one will try to get me off lunch to work on trivial shit. Pull behind the store, then my headlights hit a figure. Looked like a human crouching down. It's Skeletor. Dude whips his head around to me and runs off. Before I go on, behind the store there was a chain link fence about 12 feet tall, with a dense forest, a kind of swamp area behind it. Skeletor then climbs up the fence and clears it in about 2 seconds. He runs off into the forest. All of my what? I called the security guard around to check out the situation. On the ground there were 7 open and empty raw chicken packets and chicken bones, like 35 pounds worth of meat. The next day they find an entire outfit. Shirt, shoes, jeans, hoodie with dried blood stains a few feet away from the fence. I know chances are he was a meth head, but that shit gave me the chills when I first saw him look at me. Like the dude looked right through me into my fucking soul.
Be me. Be Walmart manager. Walmart was built on the grounds of an old mental hospital for criminally insane children. Hospital famous for abuse. Oftentimes, I hear children's laughter while in the backroom break room. Also, see people walk toward you or up to a counter in peripheral vision, but no one is there. Be Hurricane Katrina. Power goes out. Generator only lasts so long. Standard procedure is to evacuate store of customers. Anon, clear out the back hallway. Awshit.jpg. Back hallway dark, with creepy beeping and faint red light from powered down alarms. Immediately hear children laughing upon entering. Mission. Make it to the break room. Getting closer. Laughter getting louder. Definitely coming from the break room. Somehow, make it past personnel. Almost to the break room now. Hear definite children's speech. He wants to play with us. .mpeg. We need to hide. .mpeg. Abort mission. Panic. GTFO. Turn to run. The personnel door behind me flies open. Nope. .jpg. bust out through the fire door.
I used to be an overnight 10 to 7 stalker at Walmart. Nothing paranormal happened, but I encountered some creepy-ass people. Once me and another older lady stalker found a huge puddle of blood just chilling in the pharmacy. A little after 10 p.m., beginning of the shift. Getting my shit together to start stalking the health and beauty section. Still have flashbacks just thinking about it. Old lady co-worker always stalked the section next to me, which was the over-the-counter drugs by the pharmacy, condoms, pregnancy tests, shit like that. Old lady is cool as hell. I enjoy talking to her, and we always help each other out if one gets finished early. Anyway, I am about to crack open my first box of deodorant when I glance up to see the old lady motioning me over. Looks more bemused than alarmed. Go over to see a pretty big puddle of red in the pharmacy area, right by the eye drops and contact solution. Smells bad, harsh and coppery. It is obviously blood. It was a much brighter red than I would have expected and was still in a totally liquid state, had not coagulated, so it must have been fresh. Drops of blood trailing away from the biggest puddle, going down the aisle towards the gardening and outdoor area. Radio a manager, of course it is Connie who responds, aka the most unpleasant woman I have ever met. Stares at the puddle for a second before grabbing a big bunch of paper towels and without any fucking gloves, just wipes it up. She mumbles that it is not blood and just walks away. Me and old lady co-worker are just like WTF just happened. I would have really liked to have seen the security camera footage from that area that night. Nothing ever came of it, but that was definitely blood. Probably just from a nosebleed or something, but still. The fact that the manager didn't even bother with figuring out what happened bothered me for some reason. I ended up quitting about 2 months later. Fuck Walmart.
Me and my roommates love zombie movies, so we hoped and were ready for a zombie apocalypse. Ended up being a bit disappointed, especially considering how our night started to play out. At about 8 p.m., we get a blizzard warning. At about 11, we head to Wally World to stock up on food, thinking we will be snowed in for a few days. Fog rolls in as soon as we leave. Wally World is in the middle of nowhere next to a dense forest. Lights from streetlights look creepy, beaming through the fog, and we cannot see 5 feet in front of us. The wind is howling. Looks like something off of Silent Hill. We're convinced hordes of zombies were in fog. Get to Wally World parking lot. Light snow falls from the sky, almost like ash. Wind has a hum to it, like something is roaring from a distance. Go into Wally World. See a guy dressed in lumberjack attire stumbling down the aisles. We were ready to hit the hunting section if shit went down. Dude ends up being drunk. We stock up on food and head home. Needless to say, nothing fucking happened, but it was the coolest trip to Walmart anyone can say they've had.
Fellow former overnight overstockologist here. The most paranormal thing about nighttime are the inhabitants. All co-workers are by default weird. Nobody takes an overnight stocking position at a Walmart without having some wires in their head firing funny, myself included. The most horrifying co-worker I worked with was the only person younger than me, Quillis. And by horrifying, I mean incredibly saddening. Mentally stunted 20-year-old did not act a day above first-grade competency. No parents, no car, lived with his uncle. His uncle was a local music performer who took $350 out of each of Quillis's paychecks as rent. We got paid twice a month, rarely above $450. This uncle lived in a gated neighborhood and has been swindling a family member to have some closet in his house, fucking family member shafting someone mentally handicapped that bad and never even helping him get to work. I also worked with tons of mentally ill temp workers, illiterate ex-felons, a bipolar wizard, a perpetually stoned furry, and one guy who had a chronic case of being way too drunk all the time. Watched the aftermath after the high-low machine malfunctioned and punched a hole through the frozen cooler. Watched a puddle in the dairy cooler grow in size for 5 days, and on the 6th, Quillis missed the entrance moving a pallet of eggs. Watched a whole pallet of eggs, structurally compromised by wet cardboard. Ooze everywhere in slow motion. I was pretty baked. Watched meat rot overnight. Nobody checked the temperatures of the shelves. Nobody moved the rotten food. Still, it was a very interesting 6 months, and I'm changed, hopefully for the better, because of it. Most of the people I worked with were surprisingly some of the most genuinely nice people I've ever worked with. The best part of the shift was always 5 a.m. chilling with all these dudes.
Yeah, no shit, man. I was only there for maybe 3 months when I got sick and had to have surgery to remove a tumour. Walmart's medical leave sucks, so I was pretty much forced to quit, which was totally fine by me at that point. I was kind of over getting hit on by dirty, old men at 4 a.m. who thought that mumbling obscenities to me under their breath while I'm trying to organise the sports equipment constituted as flirting. I work at a local retail store now, where like 99% of my customers and all of my co-workers are nice old ladies. Besides the occasional bout of explosive mess all over the handicapped bathroom stall, things usually aren't nightmare-inducing, which is a nice change.
God damn, this is so true. Former overnight stock boy and shopping cart go-getter at Kroger, a Mid-South retail grocery. I had one kid, about 20, who was an obvious freak. He was one of my friend's cousins. My friend told me he would recreate scenes from Halloween at home and had a huge knife collection. They weren't close. My friend wouldn't even speak to him. We'd be in the parking lot getting carts, and he would say some creepy off-the-wall shit. He would always tell me how he wanted to attack the girls out in the parking lot at night. Dude.rar. I kept an eye on him constantly, as my girlfriend worked as a night cashier and left before I did. Kid would just stare at all the girls walking out. Finally, I told the manager. Nothing was done, of course. On days I would be off, they would make my girl go out and get buggies at around midnight. I would have to go to work and walk with her because I was really fucking creeped. Our parking lot is huge, too. I'm talking about one store with a parking lot the size of 3 football fields. Rough estimate. Besides that kid, I worked with other weird people. Mostly handicapped, mentally disturbed. Those guys were fun to work with, though. Still talk to every one of them when I go to the shop, except that fucking kid. 10 out 10 would work that job again if I had to.
Hey guys, first time posting here. Got off work a little while ago and some creepy shit happened before I finished my shift and I thought I would share. I work at a grocery store as a bag boy and cart pusher. I am 19, by the way. Usually while doing carts, go to the back of the store for a few minutes of free time for texting or listening to music. It is about 8 p.m., so it is pretty dark out. I was behind the store checking my phone when I hear this loud, constant clicking noise. Look around for the source of clicking. Clicking is coming from bushes and trees about 25 feet away. Clicking speed increases and I begin to feel unnerved. Go back to the front of the store for carts. Later have to walk trash all the way around the store to dumpsters in the back. Figure fuck it. It is just some clicking. It is probably nothing. Start taking trash back and notice there is no clicking. As soon as I reach the back of the store, it starts up again. Feeling nervous but gotta throw out the trash. Walk further down the back road that runs behind the store. The farther down I go, the closer the bushes are to the road. Clicking sound definitely following me. Starting to get freaked out but manage to keep calm. The bushes start rustling near me. There is no breeze at all. Nope. Throw trash in the dumpster and walk back next to the store wall so I'm far from the bushes. Bushes still rustle and move and I swear I hear something semi-big moving quickly in there. Too dark to see. Clicking follows me all the way back. Manage to not take off running before making it back to the front of the store. I'm honestly a little nervous to take the trash to the dumpster again. Whatever the fuck it was clearly following me.
Long post, so bear with me. My experiences where I work. Okay, so I work in a retail store which is housed in several old buildings which I guess are at least 50 to 100 years old. To make the store bigger, several older buildings have had walls knocked through and renovated. My job is to oversee stock control and often work alone in the building's stockroom. The primary stockroom is in the basement, at least 20 meters or so below street level. Like the main building, the basement spans several older cellars that have been converted into one large rooms with several corridors and small rooms spanning off of it. You can tell some sections are older, as the walls often go from concrete to stone to brick depending on the age. Now the stockroom is where the interesting activity happens. We get various types of activity daily, all of which you can find either a scientific or paranormal explanation for depending on your mindset. To look at it rationally, I believe some of the things reported could be from sensory deprivation. If you're working a long shift downstairs with no human contact, in a large room dimly lit by fluorescent bulbs, I could easily blame some of the activity to that. But anyway, here is a list of some of the commonplace activities. Moving items. All stock is meant to be assigned to certain locations around the stockroom. For example, flammable materials in one shelving rack, knives in another, security items in locked cabinets and rooms, and small items in specially assigned bays. For the last couple of years, I've worked here for about 4 years now. We've had stock go missing and turn up days later in different locations. For example, a telephone kit stocked in one bay may go missing for weeks at a time, be written off and then turn up later back in its old location, or a nearby one. When an item is written off, the paperwork has to be completed for it. So I would write up a report and check all known locations to confirm we don't have it in stock. But over and over again, an item will vanish and later reappear. To begin with, we blamed this on a staff member horsing around, but after security was stepped up in the stockroom, and only trusted staff members allowed down there, the moving missing items has still kept occurring at a consistent frequency. It is also quite common to have an item fall from a shelf, despite it being securely placed in a rack, and later, after it has been put back, come flying off of the shelf again. Sounds. I and many other staff members have heard what sounds like another person down in the stockroom, despite no one being there. This normally happens when a colleague is working behind shelving, where their view is obscured of the next set of shelving racks. You will often hear someone walking down an aisle, coughing, muttering, or whistling. Despite the fact that no one else is downstairs, the doors to the stockroom are rather loud, so you will always hear someone enter or leave. Despite this, disembodied sounds happen occasionally. Apparitions. Probably the creepiest thing to experience in the basement. Every now and again, you will spot a silhouette of a person at the opposite end of a shelving rack as you walk parallel to it. Upon registering you saw something and going to investigate, no one is there. The most up-close experience I had was when I saw what appeared to be a figure of a woman staring at a corner around 10 yards from me as I rounded a corner. As I came closer, the figure dissipated into the air. Phone calls and electronics. Every now and again, an internal call will be made from the stockroom to another room in the store. The phone display will confirm the stockroom is calling, but when someone picks the phone up, only silence can be heard on the other end. This generally happens during the time the store is being closed and requires a security sweep of the stockroom to be made, and nothing is ever found to be out of place. The building's circuit breakers and heating utilities are housed in sections of the stockroom as well and frequently break down. When an engineer is called out and parts are replaced, something normally goes wrong with them within weeks, prompting another call-out.
Your workplace sounds haunted, bro.
The weird thing is, I never get an eerie, threatening atmosphere from the place. A few of my coworkers absolutely refuse to be left alone in the stockroom. But for the most part, activity is just annoying when it messes with me doing my job properly. Also, as this is all activity over a period of 3 or 4 years, you don't see or hear almost anything most days.
Be 21 and working for nighttime security at a tractor manufacturing facility. Literally the most boring job ever. Just walking around with a phone, scanning barcodes in buildings, and reporting anything that seems out of place. The monotony goes on for about 3 weeks before weird things start happening. One night, around 1 a.m., I was walking near the back of the facility. The back of the whole facility is nothing but endless woods. When I noticed a large hole in the chain-link fence, about 3 feet in diameter. I think nothing of it, but I report it to my boss anyways.
I assumed it was probably caused by one of the tractors when they were doing their tests near that exact area. The next night, around the same time, I go to check on the fence again to make sure it is holding up after the repairs. Looks as if no one even bothered to fix the thing, even after I told them, because the hole is still there, and there are not even any signs of repair. I walk up to it and look around for anything I could use to block it because, God forbid, some kind of animal sneaks in and wrecks shit up somewhere and I get blamed. I see a 50-gallon steel drum sitting no more than 10 feet away, so I drag it to the hole and push it snug against the opening and walk away. Get about 30 feet away from the exact area when there is this loud clang. Nearly shit myself as I turn around to see what just happened. A steel drum is laying on the ground, and the lid is slowly rolling towards me. Book it out of there as fast as possible and quit the very next day. Fuck that place and its shitty pay.
Be me about a week ago, hanging out with my friends, spending the night, about 2200, just got back from walking to Walmart, bought snacks and sparkling cider. One friend, Kat, hides near closet doors to spook Chelly. Other friend. Important because those doors were shut tight. Spook her, laugh, eat snacks and drink before cramming onto Chelly's bed. Shifting towards sleep when we get alert about a machete murderer in the area. Spoopy. All step out to lock doors and windows. Finally get back in bed, nearly 2350, feeling sleepy. Kat first notices one of the closet doors is wide open. No one else is awake in the house. The garage door does not lock. All three were too scared to get up. Hear scraping on the window. No trees near the window. Dog and cat in the house. I am by the window. Hell no. JPG. Only one brave enough to get out of bed. Wield the empty sparkling cider bottle as my weapon. Cat shines light into the closet. See nothing. I shut door. Check the whole house. Spooked when I hear a large bang. Dash back to the bed. Shakily pass out. Exhausted. My way of dealing with shit is sleeping. Friends say they stayed up until 0300. The police caught the man the next day. Found near our house. There's scratch marks on Chelly's house. On wood at the base of the window. Fresh. Definitely made last night. Fucking terrifying looking back. Mildly horror in the moment.
I used to be a cart pusher at Walmart, and I am convinced I saw a dead body one night. I had to work the evening shift, 3 p.m. to 11 p.m., and after 7 p.m. the other guy got off work, so I had the rest of the night alone. It was a pretty easy night, not many carts. I spent most of my time just walking around the parking lot listening to music and wasting time. It was getting close to 11, so I went around for the final pickup, gathering any loose carts from the very back of the parking lot. There weren't many, only like 5 or 6. One of them, however, was filled with a big black plastic bag and it smelled awful. I didn't know what it was, but I knew I had to push the cart around the building to the big dumpsters and throw it away, because the manager always does a sweep before I leave, and if I don't have the carts in, I'll get in trouble. So I pushed it around the side of the building, practically holding my breath because of the smell. Till I got to the dumpster. I picked up the bag, but it was heavier than I expected. I didn't care, just wanted to get rid of the thing, so I hurled it over. Just as I did, I was fucking positive I saw an arm just inside the top of the bag. I was paralyzed at first and thought about looking back in it. But I said, fuck that, and I went back to the front of the store to put the cart up. A few minutes later, just before I was ready to go home, a guy showed up speaking with an Indian accent, asking if a cart with a big bag was here somewhere. I told him, while my heart was beating fast, that I threw it away because I thought it was trash. He asked where, and I told him around the corner. I saw him quickly walk that way and around the corner. I clocked out and went home, trying not to think about what I saw.
Be cop. Arrested a meth head for swinging a machete at random passers-by. He is a frequent flyer that I have arrested before a few times. He always steals machetes from Walmart and has one at all times. Ask him why the fuck he does this. babbles some shit about demons and that he needs to practice his ninja shit to fight them, so he is justified in swinging it at random people. Put him in the back of the car. I keep an eye on my arrestees while they are back there. This time the dude is just staring at me with lifeless eyes the whole way. I am wearing dark sunglasses while driving, but he somehow knows when I look up into the rearview mirror to look at him and never breaks eye contact. I shit you not, the dude's eyes start to glow yellow and turn reptilian. I come to a stop at a light, remove my sunglasses, turn around and look directly at him with only the partition between us, and they did not change. They looked animated and moved around, like there was a hologram over his actual eyes. For some reason I just laughed. Do not show. Weakness. We get to jail, and the second I park, he starts flipping out. Yelled louder than any human I have ever heard. Like it hurt my ears from outside of the car, standing 20 to 30 feet away. His eyes stay the same until other officers come out to help wrangle this fucker into a cell. He goes back to being calm, seemingly lifeless, and staring at me. Saw the fucker a few times again riding around on his BMX bike, acting pretty normal, or normal for him, until I switched departments. I think demons prey on the weak, like some brainless meth junkie on the streets isn't a hard body for them to take over. There isn't much of a mind left to resist them. I believe to this day that the turd had a legit demonic entity in him, that he was pretty aware of it, and that he or it wanted me to be aware.
I've had one/X/ related moment in my life. Few years back, working in Walmart's electronics section because I was a huge nerd. Working one night, this rotund man in khakis, button-up shirt, tie, and sweater vest comes around. All of these clothes fit him, and he carries himself with confidence, strikes up a conversation with me about the new iPod Touch that had just come out. Shoot the shit with him about electronics for a while. Do not remember what we talked about, but he seemed to actually really know his stuff about gadgets and tech. Also able to really keep up the beat in the conversation with me. Starts asking me about our recording devices and what we have to offer. Ask him what he needed it for in specific. Tells me that he wanted to use it to record court cases that he was intending to go to next week. Ask, is not that illegal? He gives me a cocky grin and says that he just wants to make sure the man is not getting away with anything. Sell him a recording device and send him away. A few months go by. See him again. He is wearing regular casual clothes. They are a little bit battered and beaten, but otherwise fine. For some reason he seemed tired, not able to keep up pace with me as well as he used to, but still seemed sharp. Did not think much of this encounter. A few more months pass by. See him again, but had to do a double take. His clothes are ratty, oversized even on his rotund ass, stretched out, full of stains, and buttoned up in a strange way. Gives off the impression that someone had dressed him and not well. Slouches. Has lost the confident stride he had before him. Zones out all the time when I try to talk with him. When I do get him to talk, he is kind of going over sentences he had already said. Has no idea about any of the tech we had talked about last time. Had massive difficulty stringing thoughts together. It was like he had just gotten stupider all of a sudden. Never see him again.
Be cart pusher at a grocery store. Occasionally find shit in carts. I am not a heartless asshole. I will bring it into the front desk if it is someone's personal belongings or a Redbox DVD or a wallet, but if it is loose cash, I am keeping that shit. One day, find a cheap leather stationery pad with the CIA logo/seal on it. Probably some random thing they give to guys who retire or give to people on tours or whatever. I doubt its owner was actually CIA. The notepad is stuffed full of papers and shit. I put the whole shebang in my pocket and went upstairs to the break room to go over it. One thing immediately jumps out at me. $40-some in cash. Another thing jumps out at me. Lots of little cardboard trading cards of female wrestlers, like dozens. Look through the papers and it is all boring business chart shit. Keep flipping through until something catches my eye. BBW. At first I chuckle, but it is some kind of chart with things like BBW, Asian, etc. This dude was creating some kind of perv chart. Go back through and literally everything I had flipped past was related to porn in some way. Lists of stars, genres, individual DVDs, etc. Always spelled fuck as FK or F. I am in some kind of mixture of amusement, awe, and creeped outness. Eventually get to a section that is full of a repeating pattern, a female name, full or partial, and a list of possessions or objects or the lack thereof, like Linda, iPod, keys, Kim Smith, purse, keys, no phone, no iPod, etc., etc. My stomach immediately turns cold and sinks. Immediately assume it is some kind of serial killer thing, like keeping tallies of his victims or whatever the fuck. I decide to keep it and bring it home. Keep the money. Obviously, the dude never calls the store asking for it. For weeks afterward, I continuously Google the names, but never come up with any results indicating a kidnapping, murder, or missing person of any sort. Eventually, just throw the bundle away since it gives me the creeps. Come to totally regret this almost immediately out of some vague gnawing feeling. It was obviously just some weird addict's Rolodex or something, but I still have no clue what the last section with the names was about.
I hope that you enjoyed tonight's broadcast. If you enjoyed tonight's story, then please subscribe to the channel as more Greentext will appear daily. A new broadcast will appear when the clock strikes midnight Central Time.